Dentistry's changed, it's evolving, and dentists today I think are more mobile than they've ever been. So something I don't know that a lot of dentists think about is the impact of that. When it comes to malpractice insurance, what do I need to think about with that in mind?
They need to consider how their insurance is supporting them along that journey. And so one of the first things we want dentists to know is their policy coverage, the type of coverage that they're getting, and how that could impact their journey.
All right, so you're talking about coverage types. What types are they? Are they the same? Is one better than the other?
So the two types of coverage that dentists should have a choice between is occurrence and claims made. And I say should because not all carriers will offer both. So it's really important, the first thing dentists do is find a carrier that's offering them options. And then they need to start understanding the difference between the two. So in simplest of terms, occurrence, the way it works is it responds to a claim based on the date treatment occurred, regardless of the date the patient names them in a claim. Claims made, it's the opposite. So it will respond based on the date the claim is made, regardless of the date you treated the patient.
So that sounds like an insurance technicality. What's that really mean?
So both policy types are great. It really depends on your situation, which one might work best for you. But generally, we do recommend occurrence over claims made. Occurrence coverage provides a lot more flexibility to dentists, especially if they're moving around. And why that is you can cancel and restart an occurrence policy whenever you want, and there's no extra fees or penalty to do so, and the coverage you purchased stays in place.
Okay, so if I have occurrence, I'm in pretty good shape moving forward. What if I have claims made and I stop? Can I still get sued by a patient from the past?
Correct. So even though your policy stops, your risk of being sued doesn't. So that's why if you have a claims made policy, you need to make sure you get what's called tail coverage put in place. And it basically covers your tail going forward if you were to see a lawsuit.
Got you. So what you're saying is I've paid for my policy, I stopped my policy, now I have to add money even though I may have a new insurance moving forward.
Correct. And this is exactly what we want dentists to understand when choosing a policy, that if you want to go with a claims made, you should know about tail coverage because it's a big expense that they might have to pay down the road. Recently, we've had a new dentist who was in practice for about a year, 12 months outside of school, and then they were furloughed and eventually laid off from the group. They had a claims made policy, which was then canceled. So now, not only do they have no income, no job, they have an extra expense that they now have to pay for tail coverage to make sure they're protected.
All right, so I thought tail coverage was free.
Yeah, so this is a misconception we hear a lot from dentists. And most carriers that offer claims made coverage will advertise that you get free tail coverage when you cancel that policy. However, you really have to read the fine print because most often it's only upon death, disability, or complete retirement. So in the example with the furloughed dentist, they may have thought they got coverage for free, but because it wasn't for one of those three reasons, they had to pay for that tail.
Okay, so we kind of started with dentistry changing and people are more mobile. Is this something a new dentist really needs to concern themselves with?
Absolutely. And this goes right back to occurrence, occurrence, occurrence. Picking that policy is going to help them focus on their career and any changes they need to make during their first few years or throughout their entire 30 years of practice. Occurrence gives them that certainty and flexibility they need to stay focused on dentistry.
Got it. So it sounds like to me, if I'm a dentist, I really need to understand the policy types that are out there. Emily, thanks so much. That was great.